Hello everybody, it's Cappuccino Corgi here, and I'm going to teach you guys how to create your own poses using some pretty concrete anatomy rules. So, I personally find that a combination of good front leg positioning, good back leg positioning, rib cages, bellies, and spinal cords all play a decent part in positioning. What I mean by is you can't just have a leg folded or a back leg kicked up and not adjust the spine in some way. So I'm going to teach you how to do that today. Okay, so first I'm going to lead you guys through some basic front leg, I'd say rules, but they can be bent with when it comes to style and stuff. But first I'm just going to go through how to construct a proper front leg. So what I like to start with is a decent rounded triangle, pizza slice kind of thing, like so. And then, just gotta adjust this, okay. And then what I like to do is come down for an elbow. And, I mean, if you just copy what I'm doing, you'll be fine. And then my paw. So, and you just flesh that out. It goes from thick to thin, and don't forget about the ankle, so it has a little lump there. Like so. So that's a basic front leg. Now when it comes to positioning front legs into different poses, that's where things get a little tricky. You want to be able to create your own poses naturally and unnaturally without compromising anatomy. So I do this by, you'll be changing everything even if you just want a lifted leg. The shoulder will be changed, the forearm, ankle, and paw will all be changed. So I'm just gonna guide you through this. So first, here's our chest, and if our leg is kicked up, you know how if we put our arm up in a sort of collected manner, our shoulder goes up. So I'd say keep the same shoulder, and it's kind of tucked up. So forearm, here's our ankle, forearm, ankle, it's not too long, then our paw. And then remember, it goes from thin to thick. Just like that, and I like to add a little fur. So that's a basic leg lift. Keep in mind that our elbow stays in the same position, like this right here is about the same as this, but the forearm is squished up a bit, and it tends to be a little thicker, so I like to do that. And our paw is also flipped to the side or profile view instead of 3/4 view. So, like that. Now, a very common mistake that I see many artists making is this. I see a lot of people doing this, and I just want to tell them that if you just change one thing, it'll be fine. So, I mean, keep in mind our wrists. Like, I mean, our arm doesn't break in half trying to go that way. So, keep in mind that when a dog is like this, their arm doesn't break in half. Keep in mind that their ankle is down here, like that. Hope that makes sense for you guys. So back legs are obviously one of the many things that artists struggle with because they're tricky. I'll admit it. It took me forever to learn how to do it right. So first, just like we did with the front legs, I'm going to lead you through how to create a proper standing back leg. So you're going to begin, I always begin obviously with the butt. And I'm going to talk more about butts and spinal cords at the end of the video because that really comes into play when you're doing hind legs. So it goes from thick to thin once again. So I'm just going to start with a straight line. Here's my knee. And these two lines are about the same size. I mean length. So that's a good rule. The butt point matches up with the knee point. And it goes down in a low drop curve. Here's my heel. And their legs don't go straight down. They kind of come like this. And there's the paw. And I just thin that out. Like so. So, if you know these basic rules, just like these two lines are the same size. This goes like this. This is about the same as this. So, when we begin to draw poses with this leg anatomy, it can fall into place much easier. Sorry. So if we're gonna draw a back leg that is hiked a bit, I'll just say that, or up, this is how you would do it. So here's your rear end, and the leg is coming forward. It's not just lifted up into place. I'm just gonna do this down here. So the leg is lifted, okay? Keep in mind that these lines are the same length. We're keeping the same rules that we just established with poses. Now, where are we gonna place this butt cheek? We're gonna take this extended about here, and that's where our butt cheek's gonna go. And it slopes. It peaks where the leg starts, and it goes into our back. Make sense? So we're gonna, okay, so I don't know how to explain this part, but alright, you just come out. Again, the paw is at a two-dimensional view, so we don't have to do much. It goes from here to here, and I see a lot of people cutting it off too short, and that just doesn't look good. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep these two folds parallel, or the same length, and then you're gonna come in about the same thickness, and we're gonna do a little fluffy until we get to the butt cheek. See? Not so hard after all, right? So those are the basic rules I use for creating bent legs, and I think that will help anyone who's watching this video immensely. And it is really easy once it comes to practice. So we're gonna work on one more position with back legs, which is gonna be a kick out back leg, like it's trotting or something, and the leg's like extended backwards. So I'm gonna do that here. So again, here's your rear end, and we're gonna keep those same rules. So here's the start of our flank. Our knee, same angle and length. This foot is extended. Paw is at 2D angle. Our heel comes up a bit, and then the muscle goes in, and we're gonna find that butt cheek peak and just extend it about this far, I'd say. Okay, and then we're gonna curve up, just like we curved up all the way to the peak of this leg right here, and go into our back. So that's how you do a basic kick out leg. So what we're gonna do here, what we're gonna do next, is the belly. The belly is a big part of getting positions right, because if you don't have a correct looking leg connector, it will not look right. So right here at the bottom, basic belly anatomy. Yeah, I spelled it right. So a lot of people take this for granted, and don't really pay attention to it. They just do like a little line or whatever, but it really comes in handy when you're talking about elbows and flank creases because it's just important. So here's our chest and here's our butt. A basic belly will consist of a rib cage, a butt, and it curves down like so. And the belly has there's skin right here. You know, dogs always have that flap of skin there. It is important when it comes to drawing poses. So if our leg is bunched up like this, there's not going to be much flap showing, so it kind of gets shoved up there. So this especially comes to importance when you're doing kicked out hind legs because of this. You want to make sure you stretch that skin when you're doing the kicked out hind legs. See, because if you just like, see that's correct because the skin is being stretched. When it looks awkward is when people do this, like that doesn't look right. It needs to have skin there. You know what I'm saying? So also with elbows, like if the elbow is extended like this, it doesn't just go up, it has a little bit of skin there. So that kind of like makes everything flow a bit nicer. So next we're going to talk about spinal anatomy. This is the most important part when it comes to positions. Alright, so basic spine anatomy. So you have your head, the chest, and the butt. Alright? We're just going to work on a basic standing spinal position. So it goes from the back of the head down. And this is where a lot of people get confused because you have this peak right here, okay? You know, roughly the same angle as the leg would start. And people cut it off or round it out way too much, but I find it's best if you just curve it down because this naturally flows into the tail spine because the tail is a spine as well. There's a spine in the tail, obviously. So all of this is spinal, okay? So keeping this in mind, we can begin to create positions using this basic spinal anatomy. So I'm just going to speed this up and show you guys a few ways that you can apply the front leg anatomy that we talked about and the back leg anatomy that we covered and kind of apply it to the spinal anatomy. I'm gonna show you like stretches and curls and everything that a spinal cord involves. Let's take a look at how this spine differs from this spine. We notice that there is a deeper drop between the withers, and obviously the spine goes up. So it's like a big woof. And then keeping this into play, the kind of deceleration of height is here. So we still go down because the leg is collected like this. It's not extended. If it were extended, I'll show you that in just a minute. But this is an somewhat extended forearm, and this is a collected back leg. And keep in mind, I keep saying keep in mind, sorry, but if you observe the chest, also, the chest, there's no skin because this is covering it and it's bunched up. This is our rib cage, and that's also brought up as well. as you can see in this dog, everything is extended. It's pretty much a straight line, but you still have the neck curve that goes into the withers, the back curve, and the rear curve. And keeping these same rules, these are parallel. I mean, not parallel, but the same, you know. And this is a collected front arm using the same rules, and this is an extended back leg. I'm going to show you one more example. And I'm going to show you it, me creating a dramatic pose using these principles that you wouldn't see a canine do in real life, so that's what makes it original. So I'm going to create one of those by using the same rules that we talked about in this video, and feel free to reference any material you see as a learning purpose, because I really want you guys to learn this, and a lot of people struggle with this, so that's why I'm making a video. Alright, so here you can see that I've created a pose using the rules that we talked about. Rules, guidelines, I mean, they're not basic rules, but anyway, I'm just gonna tell you guys a bit about how this works, how I was able to do this. So first, this one has a basic picked up foot, and the other front leg I pulled the elbow back a little bit as if you were doing push-ups, you know, like your elbow goes back as you go down. So her elbow, her or him elbow is pulled back, but I'm still keeping the same rules, but her paw is a 3/4 view, as you can see, unlike this one. The spine has a deep curve and it goes up to the peak and down for the butt, which flows neatly into that knee cap in a basic collected / extended leg. And I pretty much mimicked the same over here, and the spinal cord goes right up to the tail because the tail flows right out from the spinal cord.
So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. I hope it helped you figure out how to create your own original poses. Also, don't be afraid to Google running dogs, because that just gives me some ideas when I'm going through a block. Don't forget to practice a ton with these techniques, and that practice makes progress, not perfection. I hope you guys have a blessed day, evening, whatever. And thank you for supporting me on Patreon.